remember that every class I record and I upload it to my YouTube page. And there you can access not only the class, but also tutorials. So today we're gonna we'll probably get through all of our I see you, Miss Iris. We're probably gonna get through all of our warm-ups today. I know I did a lot of talking last week, but that's necessary. So I'm just gonna start walking and get open and closing my hands, pumping my arms. My goal is just to get my body warmed up. I have this heater down here at my feet blowing hot air because this room is cold in the winter and really hot in the summertime. So we'll still be in class probably when it starts getting warm. But we want to always exercise with warm muscles. And if we were to try to move with cold muscles, then we increase
Can you see me?
I see you now, Miss Linda.
All right, I was having trouble getting in. Okay.
All right, I'm glad you're here.
Okay.
So we're just getting our muscles warmed up. Now, I'll tell you, not only working with cold muscles, but have you ever been cold and you just like really tighten up? You're just like, oh, I'm so cold. I'm so cold. You create tension, and that tension can cause pain. So you'll notice if you're so tense because you're so cold, and then later you realize, oh gosh, you're really sore because you caused tension in those muscles. So start thinking about body awareness and where you're not holding tension. And as soon as you catch yourself holding it, let it go. And that's not just in Tai Chi class, but all the time. Let tension go. Don't hold on to tension. On that same note, we practice upright posture in Tai Chi class, and that's our goal everywhere else too. So we widen our stance. We put our feet about shoulder width or hip width apart. Our weight is on both legs. We have a soft bend in our knees, so we're not locking our legs. It's just a soft bend, and we have good posture. Our shoulders are relaxed, no tension, and that puts us in a stable stance that sets our body up for stability. Okay, so this is where we'll start with our warm-ups, beginning with our neck. We bring our hands up, palms down, turn and bring them towards our chin and chest, turn and push them away from our bodies, and then follow those hands all the way down. Come back up. So you should feel a stretch in the back of your neck when you take your chin towards your chest. Even though it looks like my hands are completely extended, see, there's still a soft bend. So I'm not out here like this. I'm not Frankenstein. I'm out, but I'm not completely locked in my arms. And that keeps what's called a song joint, S-O-N-G. That's an open joint that allows energy to flow. All right, we got Miss Sharita. As you come in, I write down row, so I'll make sure I don't forget anybody. So that's our first neck exercise. Let's go to our second one where we bring our hands up. Same thing here. We stop, put one hand to our hip, and we follow this one as we look towards that shoulder and back to the front, just like we did last week. Switch hands, look over that shoulder, come back to the front, and switch. So we're going back and forth, stretching that neck, not going as far as we can go, but just going until we feel a slight stretch. Side to side.
Hey.
Ma'am.
Hey, Booker. What's up? I'll put it in my door. Yeah, I'm not gonna put it in the door of one of the cars. All righty. Okay, dokie. Thank you, girl. All right, bye-bye.
All right, now we're moving to our shoulder. So we're in new territory. If this is your very first time taking Tai Chi, we're learning beyond what we learned last week. So with our shoulders, we're going to roll those shoulders forward. Tiny circles. I don't think we got this far. It just humor me if we did. I teach 5 classes in a week. So sometimes I get confused. And roll those shoulders back. It's like a little massage you give yourself. And so you might want to do these really big circles, but keep in mind that in Tai Chi, we do everything really small. We go slow and small. We take our time with our movements. And on that particular movement, we always roll forward first and roll back second. And that really helps reset our posture. Let's do a shoulder circle where we bring our palms up and we stop before we come way up here. And then we turn and we push down because that would create tension. So my memory's coming back to me and I did a quick review of all of them. So if you were here last week, you have seen all of our warm-up exercises, but you may not have experienced them. So again, this one's for my shoulder. Even though it's under the shoulder category, this movement right here, that's totally an elbow warm-up stretch. So most of the movements that we do are dynamic, which means it does more than one thing. It's maximizing our workout here. All right, next is for our spine. And we're going to have a ball just like this. So our hands are facing each other. And what we're going to do is separate our hands. We're going to push one hand towards the ground, but we're not going to lock it. We're going to keep that soft bend there. And the other hand is going to come up, following that spine, turn and push up towards the ceiling. So we're pushing up and down at the same time. Come back to our ball and switch. So now the other hand goes up and this hand goes down. Don't forget to breathe. I know when we do new things, we tend to hold our breath. I'm trying not to breathe because I sprayed that static spray and I inhaled it. It made me cough and I tasted it in my mouth. Feel like I said a dirty word and my mouth's been washed out with soap. Stretching that spine. If you want to think about breath specifically, let me change my camera. Pull it up a little bit. If you want to think about breath, inhale as you come to that ball, and then when you separate and extend, exhale at that moment. Inhale as you come to that ball, and exhale as you separate. And I think it makes that stretch more. Now notice that this hand that pushes down is beside me, right? So you might find, try different placements of your arm or your hand. And the same way with the hand that pushes up, you may not be able to put it above your head and push up. You might not have that mobility in your shoulder. So wherever you're comfortable, if it's here, put it where you're comfortable so that whenever you push and separate, you feel a stretch in your back. Okay? So come to the ball, inhale, separate, and exhale. So wherever your placement of your hands are, listen to your body for what's most comfortable. Okay. Back to our ball. Now we're going to take our ball side to side. We come in the direction of the hand that's on top until we're right over top of that knee. Switch our hands and come back across to that knee. Switch and turn. So we're just turning our torso, or the top part of our body. My legs, hips, they're still. Nothing's happening there. It appears that my hands are moving, but my hands, or my ball, it's only moving because my torso is moving. So I want you to see the difference between this torso movement, and then this right here is if my hands are just moving here with my torso being very still and only my hands moving. Now, this movement is intended for our spine. In order to work our spine, we have to turn our bodies. So our hands just go along for the ride. So make sure you're actually moving your body and not your hands. So pay attention to that. Sometimes it's easy to get mixed up when you're just watching it. So I wanted to call that out and say it's a torso movement. We won't learn it today. We won't probably learn it next week. It may be the next week when we learn waving hands in clouds. All of our warm-up movements prepare us to do all of our series of movements for Tai Chi and for falls prevention. And the movement, waving hands in clouds, so we just did this, right? That's the torso warm-up stretch for our class. Here's waving hands in clouds. Looks familiar, huh? My hands are just a little bit different, but it's a torso movement. So that's why we take the warm-ups so seriously, is because it's preparing us to do our Tai Chi series movements. All right, so that was for our spines. Our spine, hopefully you just have one. You're good with that exercise. We've done 2 for our neck, we've done 2 for our shoulders, and now 2 for our spine. Are we good? All right. Now we're getting complicated. We're going down to our lower body, starting with our hips. What makes the movements for our hips and knees and ankles specifically, what makes them complicated is we are practicing weight transference. So we're shifting weight to one leg, and then we're going to be doing something else with that leg that has no weight on it. All right, that's tricky. That takes really good balance. So you may be kind of afraid to move a foot that you took the weight off of. So one leg holding all your weight. So what can you do? Have a chair. Remember last week I said, don't use a chair that has wheels or it rocks. Have a chair that's very stable. Or be near a wall that's not going anywhere. This right here is a table. It's not going anywhere. So if I need to rely on this table for balance, I can. Whatever chair you might have, it might not be perfect, but make sure that whenever you put your weight into it, it doesn't move, or because we don't want to increase your chance of falls. So we're going to be shifting weight on our legs. So practice that a few times before we get into the specific movement, where you shift weight to one leg, hold that weight there. Think about that knee being slightly bent. While that weight is on that leg, think about your posture. Are you holding tension anywhere? How does that feel? All right, now let's shift the weight to the other leg. Again, think about the posture. Think about if this feels stable, if you feel very wobbly, are you going to need something that helps keep you balanced? And that may tell you. You may not know until you kind of try it, but I'm just giving you fair warning. As we move into our lower body movements, then we're going to have weight on one leg while we do something with this other leg. So here we go. For our hips, we're going to shift weight to one leg. We're going to place our heel out forward. And when that heel is out forward, our hands are back. So from the side, it looks like this. Forward and back. Then we're going to pause in the middle. So the foot that's forward is going to pause in the middle. The hand's going to come into the middle. Now I'm going to place my toe back. And my hand is going to go forward. Now notice when I put my foot back, I'm going to hold on to the wall. I didn't go straight back. I went back, but out. It's like a kickstand, just like on a bike. When you put that kickstand down, it goes out to the side, and that helps your bike from falling down. If your kickstand went back, your bike would fall over. So that's where we want to place that foot. It's back, but it's to the side. And that's a more stable stance. So when our foot is back, our arms are forward. And when our foot is forward, our arms are back. That is a counterbalance, but it's also what's called cross-lateral movement. And when we do cross-lateral movement, it works our brain. And that's a good thing, to work our brain. And so that's why sometimes when we're doing these movements, you feel like you're going the wrong way. You're going forward and forward, and you're going back and back, because your brain has it challenges your brain to do lateral movement. And so forgive yourself if that's a little challenging, and truly challenge yourself, because your brain will be better for it. So let's do it. Shift the weight. Go forward, hands back. Pause in the middle and toe back, hands forward. Pause in the middle. Heel forward, hands back. Pause in the middle. Toe back, hands forward. Pause in the middle. Heel forward, hands back. Pause and hands forward, toe back. What was that like, y'all?
I didn't think good enough.
Left leg, and this is my right leg. Oh, so when I'm shifted to my left leg, I'm gonna. How'd you do that? How am I talking?
Oh, you know what? I've got you on YouTube. I've been watching you on YouTube. Let me cut that off.
I know that lady. Now, who is it that just came in?
This is Irene Hunter, and I was watching you the whole time on YouTube, and then I couldn't say anything, and so then I went back to the original note you sent out and saw that, you had a Zoom. So I do a lot of Zooming, so I kind of forgot that we were on Zoom, but I went to your YouTube, so I was catching you.
You were answering my question, and I wasn't answering back, or wasn't.
That's right.
Well, I'm glad to know that you have found my YouTube and able to use it, because even if it's not Tuesday, even if you went to Tuesday class, you can come on Thursday and do the morning class. You're in the afternoon class, but maybe you do the morning class on Thursday. So utilize it. Go back from 2 years ago. And you'll find how much I've grown and not necessarily changed, because the movements are the same, but I feel like I've gotten better at explaining things and exploring the movements and making them better. So the old classes are still good, So there's lots of classes out there for you to use.
Mm-hmm.
So with our lower body exercise, you notice how we did that 3 times. So all of that weight was on this leg that whole time. And that leg probably started screaming at you. It probably was like, hey, lady, can you give me a break? Well, yes, we can give you a break. Now we're going to do it to the other leg. So we shift the weight to that other leg, heel forward, hands back, paws in the middle, and toe back, hands forward. Keeping our upright posture, remember. Continuing to breathe. Noticing when that foot goes back, it's out at an angle. When our foot is back, our hands forward. When our foot is back, our hands and feet are always opposite. All right, so that's our first movement for our hips. Really starting to challenge the strength of our muscles. So now for our other hip movement, we're going to shift weight to one leg. The foot that no longer has weight is going to lift and tap out to the side ever so slightly. Bringing it back, shift, lift and tap. Okay, so we're shifting, keeping good posture, and tapping. That's what we're doing. All right, what we do with our hands. So we're going to stack our hands like this, and we're going to take those palms in the direction of the weight shift. So if I'm shifting weight to this right leg, shift my hands going with it, tapping that left and bringing it back. Then I'm going to flip my hands, shift to that left leg, tap out right, bring it back. So notice my hands stop at the edge of my body. That's called staying within the frame. If I were to start going past that, what am I going to start doing? I'm going to start leaning. And leaning is falling, and that goes against what we're trying to do here. We want to always keep an upright posture. So it's as if you go to the Michaels and you order a custom frame just for your body. And you want to stay with that frame, stay inside that frame whenever you do those movements right here. Stop at that frame and tap out. Also, make sure you're breathing. Now, let's say you're a little bit scared to do that without holding onto a chair. Don't worry about that arm movement. The most important movements with these hip movements, the one where we did this, which I always refer to as a leg swing, and the one where we shift side to side. The most important thing that's happening there is weight transfer and the movement of that hip joint, whether we're putting the foot out forward and back or out to the side and back. That's most important. So if you need to skip the hand movement and just hold on to a chair, that's 100% fine. Listen to your body and stay within your comfort zone. So here we go. Those are for our hips. You're good with that. Of course, always let me know if you have a question or need any clarification. Now we're going to our knees. So we're going to do some more weight transfer. This is what the knee exercise looks like. I'm going to talk you through it. We go shift to one leg, doesn't matter which, because we're going to do the other next. We're going to lift this foot and tap it out forward and punch the opposite hand. See that cross lateral? Bring it back, shift, lift, tap, and punch. Bring it back, shift, lift, tap, and punch. Now notice, still a soft bend in my elbow. Also notice the fist that I have is very loose. It's as if I have an egg in my hand and I don't want to break it. Okay. So we always have a loose everything. We're loose. We don't create tension in our movement. So loose fist. We're not really punching anybody. So lift, tap, and punch. Cross lateral to challenge our brains. Shift, lift, tap, and punch. If you need to skip this punch to hold on to something stable, the most important thing happening is the weight transfer and the lift the foot out and tap. Okay, so if you need to hold on to something, no problem with that. But within your comfort zone, challenge yourself to do that whole movement. The stronger you get and the more comfortable you get with this movement, what you'll want to start doing is tap that foot a little bit higher in the air. Now, I have pretty good balance. Some days I have really good balance. Some days I struggle a little bit. So I have to listen to my body. Sometimes I go and I'm like, I'm going to challenge myself. And then I go out there to do it and I go, yeah, that's not going to happen. So let's keep it low. So again, important to listen to your body. All right. So that's the first one for our knees. The next one for our knees looks very similar. We shift weight, but this time we're going to step out. We take a small step forward. And anytime we step in Tai Chi, it's an empty step. So it's an empty step is when you place the foot, but don't immediately shift weight to it. So we place that foot out. Now we give it weight. Shift forward. We still have weight on this back foot. Bring it back. And another important component to that is this back foot. Keep it flat on the floor. So don't pull that heel up off the floor as you shift weight forward. That's called staying grounded. Let me turn off this speaker for my feet. All right. So it's a small step, shift, this back leg stays flat on the floor. I keep some weight still on it as I shift forward. Notice my knee doesn't go beyond my toe. And then I come back and bring that foot back. There's a punch, just like in the movement before. We shift. Step empty. Now we're going to shift weight forward while we punch that opposite hand. Bring it back. Feet side by side. Shift. Step. Shift and punch. Bring it back. Side by side. So this is the second one for our knee. Shift. Step. Shift and punch. Bring it back side by side. Again, that back foot stays on the ground. If we were to pull that heel off the ground, then it's going to push us forward and throw off our balance. So having that heel grounded helps keep us more balanced, more upright. Shift, step, shift and punch, bring it back, feet side by side. So it's a tiny step forward. Because if you were to step out too far, then it's going to be harder to shift weight forward, almost impossible. And then when it comes to bringing that foot back, you're going to have to push off and kick off from way up there. So keep in mind and start practicing all of our movements in Tai Chi are really small. And that may feel strange if you're used to doing everything really big. All right. So those are the two for our knees. The one where we lift, tap, and punch, and where we step, shift, punch, come back, feet side by side. So those two are for our knees. A lot of weight shifting going on there. Last is for our ankles. We don't have any hand movement for our ankles. We shift the weight and then we rock our foot. Heel, toe, heel, toe. This helps with the mobility of our ankle joint, helps keep our ankle from being so stiff. Bring it back, shift the weight, and then rock, heel, toe, heel, toe. Also helps with circulation in your legs. All right, bring it back, shift the weight, and now go big toe, little toe. So we're rocking that foot side to side. It's a little more of an awkward movement, but it's all in the name of moving this ankle joint in the different ways that it can move. All right, bring the foot back, shift, little toe, big toe. So side to side. Give your bodies a good shake. So those are all of our warm-ups. We'll do those every single time. We won't talk about them as much as we go through class, but just know those warm-ups went from head to toe. Those warm-ups are our major joints, our major joint movements. If we use our principles and do just our warm-ups, we're going to get the benefits of our Tai Chi. So we want to move slow, smooth, and continuous. Slow is a key word. We want to keep that upright posture throughout, and we want to really focus on weight transfer. And then when we make that step, that it's empty before we shift weight to that foot. Okay, so those are kind of those three components that we're working with in the start. There's other principles, but that's a good place to start. The pace of our movement, which is very slow. If you have to pretend you are in slow motion, then pretend you're in slow motion, and that will help slow you down. I had to do that in the very beginning. Upright posture, just constantly checking in with yourself that you're not holding tension anywhere and that you're not leaning. And then, like I said, the weight transfer, empty step, then weight transfer. Through weight transfer is how we're going to get these muscles so strong that we can support our bodies. All right, so let's begin learning commencement. Now, the Tai Chi that we do is Tai Chi for falls prevention and for arthritis. And so there are 6 basic movements and there are 6 advanced movements. All except commencement, all the movements are done to the right. Sorry, that's my left because I do mirror image. To the right and also to the left. Now, open and close is right here in the middle, but that makes the movements balanced. So everything we do for our left foot, we do for our right side of our body. So it's a balanced set of movements. So we're going to start learning our basic 6. The basic 6 movements are what's also called seated Tai Chi. So if you want to do this class seated, you can. And it's Dr. Lamb does these first 6 movements in for his seated class. So let me show you what it is we're getting ready to learn. We're gonna learn commencement. So commencement looks like this. That's commencement. The next movement we'll learn is open and close. Let me go over here. Open and close it. And it's just as easy as this. It will be your favorite because you know that if you get flustered on any movement, you're always going to be accomplished at open and close. Next, we'll learn single whip. We do single whip to the right first. And it looks like this. Then we do waving hands and clouds, which is what I was talking about earlier. And we go to the right first. So waving hands and clouds, we're walking to the side and we're doing that torso movement. Call this Tai Chi walking to the side. So there are 6 steps that we take. And then we come back to center for open and close. Then we'll single whip again, except now we're going to the left and waving hands and clouds to the left. Again, torso movement and Tai Chi walking to the left. 6 steps. Open, close, and then we close it out. So those are our basic 6. This is what we're working towards right now. Starting off, commencement. We start off in a stable stance. Our weight is on both feet. What we're going to do is take a step forward. First, shift the weight to our right leg. We're going to place that left foot out there. Then we're going to shift weight to that left foot. Bring that right foot forward. So that's just a step forward. So again, shift right, place that left foot out, shift left, bring that right foot forward. Easy enough, right?
Yeah.
Now we're going to do our hands. Now our hands start out to our side. Our hands are going to face each other the whole time. So we bring our hands up. See my hands facing each other. See, I have a soft bend in my elbow. I'm not Frankenstein. I'm soft elbowed. I came from here. I brought them up. Now, I didn't go higher than my shoulders. I didn't go up. I came up. Once I go beyond my shoulders, if you can give it a try, you start feeling tension in your shoulders. So we stop there. Now we go back down. So my hands are still extended. When I come down is when I pull my hands towards my hips. Then I come up my body like an elevator. Then I extend my hands out again. And then I bring them back to my body. Fingers up, and that gets me ready for that open and close. So again, hands start at our sides. We bring our hands up, down, towards our hips, up our body, extend out, and back in. Fingers pointed up, which gets us ready for open and close. Dr. Lamb, who wrote this program, has a little story that goes along with this movement, and it's helpful to some people. So he talks about this ball, okay? So he's going to take this ball and he's going to show you this ball. Oh, look at this ball. Is it so pretty? Don't you want to play with it? It's a really cool ball. No, you do not want to play with that ball. So we bring our ball back to us. We think about it. We're like, surely that they just don't know what they're missing out on. So see, look, it is such a nice ball. No, you still don't want it. So we bring it back. So that's Dr. Lamb's story with the ball. So we bring it up. Oh, look at that ball. It's so shiny and pretty. Don't you want to play with it? No. Look, but you're missing out. No, still don't want that ball. Open, close. Drop the ball, forget the ball. Nobody wants the ball. Another way that some people get help with that is thinking about drawing a U. This does not help me because to me, the U is backwards, but it may help you. So we come up and then we draw a U, down, in, and up, right? Like a U. So that may help you not forget a piece of that movement, because sometimes what happens is you come up and you're extended out, and rather than going down and then in and then up, rather than going through that whole U-like movement, some people skip a part, and instead of going down and in, they go from here to here. They skip this part. So that's where the U can come in handy, is to make sure that you're not getting in a hurry and just going from out to hip versus down, in, up, out. Okay, so again, footwork, just the footwork. We shift right, we step left, we shift left, we bring that right foot forward. That's the footwork of commencement. The hand work. Our hands start at our sides. We go up, we go down, in, up, out, back in, fingers pointed up for open and close. So open and close is our second movement. Again, footwork. Shift right, step left, shift left, right foot forward. Hand work. Hands up, down, in, up, out, in, open, close. Let's see if we can do it without me talking. Footwork, follow me. Hand work. Now do the handwork from the side so you can see it. Handwork of commencement. All right, let's put it together. So when we start, nothing's happening with our feet. We bring our hands up. Now we're going to combine hands with feet. So when my hands come down, that's when I shift weight to that right leg. So see what that feels like. Hands up, down, shift right. Okay, from back to the beginning. Hands come up, down, shift right. I always think that the hands are kind of magic. They're kind of pulling down, and at the same time, that weight is going down to that leg. So imagine doing it the wrong way. So Imagine shifting weight to that right foot while your hand's coming up. Doesn't that feel like you're fighting yourself? Come up and shift weight down at the same time. It feels like you're fighting yourself. So you're pulling your energy apart from each other. So you come up and now the energy goes down. So your hands came down and the weight went down to that right leg. What's our next foot or step? Step left. So when we place that left foot out there, then we bring those hands in. All right, so we come up, down, shift right, step left, hands come in and up. Now we know we're going to shift weight to this left foot, and we know that those hands go out. So look, two things going forward at the same time. So I shift right I shift left, forward, as my hands go forward. And then I bring that right foot forward, bring those hands back. And when I bring those hands back, I make sure that my weight is now on both of my legs to do open and close. So when it comes to weight shift, a hand movement matches the weight shift. So we have hands down, shift down to that right foot, and we have hands go out or forward, and that weight is going forward onto that left foot. Okay, so match those two movements up, and it's going to make sense. It's going to feel right because your energy is going in that same direction. And the way that you get better at it is through practice. Okay, so let's just do that several times. Let me do a time check. All right, we're going to do it over and over. Commencement. Hands come up, down, shift right. Place left, hands come in and up. Shift left as they go out. Right foot forward, hands come back. Make sure your weight's on both feet and open and close. Again, commence. Hands up, down, shift right. Place left, hands in and up. Shift left as those hands go out. Right foot forward, hands come back, open and close. Notice I say place left, not step left. Because when I say step, that makes you want to go ahead and give weight to it. But by placing that left foot there, you're not giving weight to it yet. So place left. All right, again, commence up, down, shift right. Step left or place left. Sorry, this is a new word for me. Hands come in and up. Shift left as those hands go out. Right foot forward. Hands come back, open and close. All right, I'm going to talk you through it one more time, then we'll practice without the words. And commence. Hands up, down, shift right. Place left, hands in and up. Shift left as our hands go out. Right foot forward, hands come back, open and close. Couple times, no words, and commence. Follow me. Open, close. Again, yes. open, close. Now, this is the only movement that we only do on one side. So you may feel one leg getting a little bit tired. It's probably your right. Are you feeling better about this move, commencement?
Mhm.
Remember, our goal is slow, smooth, continuous. So you know your first two moves now. We've done our warm-ups for all our major joints, and we've done commencement and open and close. Now, open and close is in several different spaces, and open and close is a breath. So I can place my hands right here, facing each other, and take a deep breath. See how my hands spread open? And now I can exhale. You see how my hands came close together? That's not because I'm moving my hands. I'm not physically moving my hands. My lungs filling up with air and emptying with air are opening and closing my hands. So that's a breath. So inhale and your hands open. Exhale and they close. So practice that a couple times. So you're not forcing your hands to move. You're letting breath open and close your hands. So open and close is a breath. All right, so that's enough learning today. We'll learn more next week. We will practice everything we've learned so far, and we'll add our single whip movement to what we learned today. So we'll keep practicing and learning more each week. Maybe sometimes we won't learn more. Some of these waving hands in clouds, it may take us several weeks to really practice those. But at the end class, we always cool down. Of course, we warm up, but we cool down by giving our legs a little fist massage. It's a way for us to say thank you to our legs for working so hard. Y'all, this weight transfer business, it works our leg muscles. So don't be surprised if you feel a little bit sore. And that's okay. It's okay to be sore. It means you worked those muscles. This little fist massage can help break up some lactic acid, which causes you to get sore. And so that's why we do this. The next cool down movement we do is to intentionally create tension. So we're tightening all of our muscles and then we're letting it go. And this is to help keep us aware of those times whenever we make tension so we know to let it go. Because if we're constantly holding tension, then we can create pain for ourselves. So just check in with yourself throughout the day and make sure you aren't feeling tense anywhere. And if you are, let it go. And you potentially can save you some pain. Sometimes it's neck ache, back ache, jaw pain. Anywhere you hold tension can cause pain. Now let's do a shoulder circle. Bring our hands up, turn, and push down. This is a great one to practice breath as well. So we inhale, turn, and exhale. Inhale and exhale. You can get kind of meditative with this. If you feel any kind of stress, you can inhale calm and exhale that stress. Inhale good, exhale bad. Enter whatever words that you want to, but we're bringing in good and getting rid of bad. So breathing can be therapeutic and adding these hand motions, and it's why they call Tai Chi meditation and movement. If you've ever tried to sit still and meditate, for lack of a better word, just meditate, you may feel like 1,000 things come bombarding your head. But Tai Chi works for a lot of people because your body is busy, so your brain isn't as clouded with thoughts. So meditation and movement. And then we end by making a fist with our right hand. Remember, when we make a fist, it's always a loose fist, like we're holding an egg we don't want to break. Our left fingers together. So our fist represents our strength. Our left hand, our fingers together like this, that represents our friendship. Our thumb end represents our humility. So we take strength, friendship, and humility, and we put those together. And in mutual respect, we say namaste.
Namaste.
And namaste is a word that means everything in me respects everything in you. And so that's the place we come to together as we learn and just try to do something better for ourselves, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well,
Jennifer, will you give me a call when you get done? Or when you have to?
Yes, I'll do it as soon as I start that upload process, then I'll call you.
Okay.
Anybody have any questions?
Oh,
All
good
right.
day.
You know how to get in touch with me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So you have my direct line if you need to call me. You have my email if you need to email me. But just let me know if you need anything between now and next Tuesday. And Mr. Rogers, I will let Samantha know to switch you.
Okay, thank you.
And but y'all let me know if I can do anything for you, okay?
Thank you.
All right, love
Okay.
y'all.
Love you.
Love you.
All right,
Bye.
bye.
Bye-bye.